TLC Thursday, and I'm Crystal, the founder of The Ladies Coach. As you know, we come out with videos every Thursday geared towards topics and questions that you all may have. This week, I couldn't get away from this topic. Actually, it was so crazy. It was like a domino effect of things that are happening in everyone's lives, I guess. I mean, I got requested this topic about why it's so hard for us to move on or get out of a relationship that we feel is not good for us. And after I got suggested that topic, 3 or 4 other women came to me, whether through text, whether through email, and asked the same thing, which is so crazy. So I wanted to do a video on this, just to obviously answer anybody who's ever texted me or emailed me this, and tell you that I'm not going to give you a straight answer, but rather give you some really thought-provoking questions to dig deep inside of you, to figure out what it is that you want, and if this relationship is something you want to move from or not. So in this video, we're going to go into 5 ways to dig deep within yourself to find out what it is that you really want out of your relationship. So here we go. If you have a pen and paper, this will be definitely handy, as I'm trying not to make this such a serious topic because I can go on and on about it, but I really want you to write down these questions because I feel like they're so crucial, ladies. So get a pen and paper and let's get started. Number 1, what is it that you really want to feel? Write this down. It takes you actually going into what it is that you want to feel out of your spouse or feel out of yourself. What is it that you want to go when you come home? How is your house? You know, how is your relationship? If you don't live together, how do you want to communicate? How do you want to feel loved? What kinds of things do you want your partner to show you, and what kind of things do you want to do for your partner? I think the most important thing before we start getting into all the negative qualms about our partner or about ourselves and about our relationship is to really just be specific with ourselves. What do we want to feel? Because I think a lot of times we go into relationships and sometimes we don't even know what, if it's our first time, meeting somebody, or if it's our first real relationship, it's kind of like trial and error, right? But the thing that we can all really work on is the things that we want to feel. Because once you know that, you kind of have a clearer vision of what you want out of your relationship. So number 1 is, what do you want to feel? And write down all the ways that you want that other person or yourself to make you feel more of the better ways. So all the positive ways that you want to feel and what both you and your spouse can do to make you feel that. Number 2, ladies, and I feel like this is actually one of the most important things. Be very truthful of where you are at with your relationship. What are the problems? What are you causing, and what is your partner causing, to create these problems? What I find is women come to me about all the things that are going wrong with their relationships and whether they should move on. But at the same time, they're not actually being very specific about what's going wrong. I feel like as women, we start trying to justify. Once we start going into the negative things about relationships, then we start going into the justifications. Oh, well, I just think he did this for this reason. And it's like, you're coming to me to tell me something negative in your relationship and why you want to move on, but then you end up being your own coach. So what I want you to do, and I think this is very important, is just be truthful. Stop sugarcoating, stop fluffing it up, and stop trying to be your own coach. That's what I'm here for. But I think that you need to be very specific and very truthful to what is actually happening, the good and the bad. Don't just focus on the bad. What are the great things about your relationship? What are the bad things about your relationship? And don't justify it, just be truthful. So if you have your pen and paper, this is actually one of the most important questions, is be truthful and very specific about what is happening now. Number 3, ladies, what could you be losing if you were to leave this relationship? This is something to be very truthful about too, because sometimes when we feel like we're in a relationship that we want to leave, We can't because of this question. We get all these fears of what's going to be uncomfortable and what we could actually be losing, and we don't even know what it is. I guarantee if you write it down, you'll either say, wow, I'm not losing anything important, or I'm actually losing a best friend, or I'm actually losing my love. So this is another crucial question to ask yourself. And be very, very truthful with yourself again. Sometimes when you're writing down, it may not sound pretty. It may make you feel like you're a bad person, which you're not. If you're writing down because of a lifestyle you have with this person, or because of your home, or because of your kids, or because your parents love this person, or because all your friends love, or maybe it's because all the things that you're losing is he's actually a best friend to you, or actually the love of your life, or actually you have this like great chemistry. But you won't know until you actually write it down, and some of them will actually sound very ugly to you, but I guarantee you're going to get to the truth of what you're going to be losing, and then you can decide if it's worth losing. Number 4, what will you be gaining? What things would you feel if you left the relationship and you feel that it'd actually be a good thing? What things could you be doing for yourself? Write down, just like how we said in number 3, write down all the things that you'd be losing. Again, write down all the things that you'd be gaining. Is it freedom? Is it being yourself? Is it being and living a life of passion? Or is it, maybe more stress? Maybe losing this relationship, you're gaining more bad and negative things in your life. Who knows? But be very truthful with yourself and write down all the things that you'll be gaining from this. And again, once you see these lists and when you're in the state of being truthful with yourself, you're going to see what it is and if it's worth it to leave this relationship and if it's going to make you a better person. Most of the time, and sometimes we got to leave, And when you see these lists of things that you're going to be losing versus things that you're going to be gaining, you're going to get a clearer picture of whether it's worth it or not. So these 2 are very important. So again, number 4 is write down all the things that you're going to be gaining. And then just take a look at all the reasons, the things that you're going to be losing and the things that you're going to be gaining, and just see if there's anything that is an epiphany to you. Now, number 5 is flip the script, okay? We went through all these really deep questions, and it's going to get you, and I really do suggest you doing these questions alone and in your own time where you can really get into a deep space with yourself. But number 5 is flip the script. What could you do to improve this relationship? Now, a lot of you are probably watching this and saying, there's nothing I can do with this relationship. This relationship has been done. I can't do any more. We've gone through all these problems and I just can't do it anymore. But I'm asking you, for the sake of the exercise and to, make me feel better about myself as a coach, I'm asking you to flip the script, meaning get into all the ways as a woman, in your energy and in your power, how could you make your relationship better? How could you transform it? Even if you can't think of it, get into a feeling. Because I guarantee you, after this question, after this exercise of getting into how you can bring your power into transforming this relationship, whether or not this relationship works, I guarantee you, your next relationship and even just your life and your relationship with yourself will be that much stronger, because you're going to be able to connect in the ways that you know to bring out power to transform anyone you're around. So I think this is I feel like all my questions are really important. I keep saying this is the most important, this is the most important. So I'm saying that this is one of the most important powerful exercises, and flipping the script is necessary to bring and tie everything that I just told you. So really write down all the ways that you can transform this relationship. Because sometimes, even though we've gone through bad with a person, there's always room to transform a relationship. I've seen it thousands of times. And your relationship, which you think is so done and maybe you can't stand it anymore, your relationship could probably be one of those that turns around and turns into something passionate. So all these questions I'm suggesting you do. I hope you had a pen and paper, but this last one, please go into your power and feel all the ways that you can transform this, and write it down and start doing it. The last thing I'm going to say to you is, after this exercise, if you feel like you're stuck in a relationship and you just don't know how long it's going to be and how, you've done this exercise and you're just like, okay, I got all my answers. I'm not going to be losing that much. I'm going to be gaining a lot. And I say flip the script. Give yourself 60 days. I say 60 days because if you're already in this, like, I can't take it anymore, I just want to go and I just want to figure out, if I'm right to leave, I say do the 60-day rule. 60 days to really figure out if this relationship can be transformed. 60 days to give all that you can give in this relationship to be able to transform it and see where it goes. After the 60 days, if it can't be worth fixing or mending or transforming, at least you've been operating in a powerful way. So at least you leaving this relationship will be even more powerful and even more loving, so that when you're out in the world on your own, you're able to live a life of passion. When you're in a relationship with a new person, you're able to operate on this very, very deep and spiritual level. So after all these exercises, if you still feel, ladies, that you can't seem to make this relationship transform, give it 60 days and really, really live in your power, and then move on, okay? So I'm so thankful you guys watched this whole video. I hope you guys do really take the time to do these exercises, and I will see you again next Thursday for TLC Thursday. Again, I'm here for comments, questions, anything that you want to discuss. Obviously, after this video, I'm around. So go ahead and comment away. You know all the ways to see where I am, social media, Twitter. Are we going to be floating these around? I hope so. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, comment below, and I'll see you next week. Love you guys.